One of the many profound changes in American society during the 20th century is the changing roles of women. In this activity, we apply economic reasoning to the discussion of the impact of the feminization of the U.S. labor force that characterized the latter half of the 20th century and continues into the 21st. The concept of opportunity cost is key to unlocking the post-World War II phenomenon. Economic analysis suggests that what is often portrayed as women being forced to work is better understood as the exercise of individual choice in the face of changing opportunity costs, alternatives, and the incentives that women face in choosing whether to work outside their homes. In this activity, students assume the role of married women in the 1930s and 1940s in the United States. As they play their roles, they confront and learn to identify the opportunity costs involved in choosing whether to stay home or go to work. Later rounds of the activity incorporate labor-saving technologies, changing societal values, and wage rates, all of which alter the benefits of the alternatives women face, and thus influence their choices about whether or not to enter the labor force and take jobs outside their homes. To prepare, you'll need employer packets for 5 students, and spouse roll cards, family description cards, and work records for the remaining students. For a reward, have a bag of candy to sell at the end of the game, and a larger reward like candy bars for the spouse and the employer with the biggest gains.
Employer teams, raise your employer papers.
Position employers around the perimeter of the room and explain the procedures of the game.
Okay, you have roles. You're either an employer, we just highlighted them, and their job, they need to hire workers because businesses produce goods and services and they sell them to consumers. But in order to make stuff, you need people. And so in order for them to produce, they need workers. And depending on the number of workers that they hire, adding additional workers adds additional revenue to their bottom line.
Take some time to walk employers through their worksheets, helping them determine whether or not and at what price they'd be willing to hire workers.
Now, can McDonald's just keep hiring workers forever and their profits just keep going through the roof? No, at some level, the productivity of those additional workers they hire starts tapering off, doesn't it? You see that too many cooks in the kitchen, or have you ever been in an environment like that where somebody else comes and you get more productive and somebody else comes and you guys are really cruising, you get too many people there and you start bumping into each other and somebody's making mistakes or maybe somebody's distracting people and that productivity kind of starts to taper off. So employers, if you look at your decision sheets, you're going to notice that it's going to tell you for how many workers that you hire, the profit that you can make from hiring that worker. Okay, and you'll notice that it increases as you hire more workers, but kind of at a decreasing rate. So employers know how much profit each additional worker will give them at a prevailing wage. Their job is to bargain with spouses. Everybody else in this family or in this classroom is going to play the role of a household spouse.
Explain that the goal of the game is to improve their lives, and they do that by acquiring more satisfaction points over the course of the game.
Spouses, you have spouses with the A role, the B role, and the C role. So there's different types of spouses in the room, and your goal is to make your life better. And you do that by acquiring more satisfaction points than you start with. So if by the end of the game you have more satisfaction points than you start with, you win. Okay, that's how your goal. So employers want to maximize profits. They want to make a profit. And spouses, household spouses, you want to gain satisfaction points.
That can be accomplished for different families in different ways. To illustrate this, have a couple students share their role as well as their family description card. Emphasize that satisfaction points can but need not be money.
I want to point out that satisfaction points don't necessarily mean wealth. That's not really, I don't want you to think about satisfaction points as money. They can be, but they don't have to be money. Satisfaction points represent value to your family, and that can be attained in many ways. It might be affected by how big your family is. If you have 8 kids at home, then that spouse, there's a lot of value in having somebody there to make sure that all the children are cared for. These are all things that can influence, your satisfaction points and how you earn those points.
Begin the game and let the round run for several minutes.
If you're kind of a little like, I have no idea what's happening, this is a jump in and figure it out, okay? Market's open. Go get a job.
That's all you're offering is 15?
15, we're a manufacturing company.
You know, we need to be able to make money, more money than we would if we stayed home. I can work for you for 30, but no less.
Yeah,
No.
You'll do it for 20.
You're an employer?
Yeah. How
Are
much?
you able to pay above 25?
No. Get out of here.
18.
Okay, I can do 18.
All right, wait.
Alright, what's your name?
Shake.
What's your name?
Jordan.
I'm there. Winston?
We got 3 people at 26.
No, 20. You're 20? I'll take 20.
Yeah.
20.
Definitely.
Thanks, right? Okay.
Nice.
Raise your hand or wave your card in the air if you got a job. Okay, now put your cards down. Raise your card if you did not get a job.
After the round, spouses should calculate their satisfaction points and employers their profits. Ask a few students about their choice to work or stay home and have them identify their opportunity cost.
Somebody that took a job, I asked Colin, he said he took a job. What was your opportunity cost of working? You're in choosing to work, what are you not choosing?
To stay at home, to clean, wash dishes, and just make clothing for my children.
Make clothing for your children. Okay. What was the opportunity cost of staying at home? Carolyn?
I could work outside the home, but I wouldn't be able to do my household tasks.
So you gave up working for $13, right? So easy choice, 25, 13.
Before round 2, distribute the round 2 employer cards. Household spouses keep the same roll card. In this round, higher demand for labor results in a higher prevailing wage.
Ready for the next round? Okay, workers, you're keeping the same roll cards, and employers, you have new banker sheets. Go.
20? I'll do 20.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay,
That's all I need. We don't need any more workers. Thank you very much. We don't need any more workers.
Any way to go any lower?
22.50.
Okay, I'll take the 24.
She's gonna take 24, but we're stopping at 3.
17. How about round 2? If you took a job, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
After the round, ask if anyone's choice and/or opportunity cost has changed.
How did the opportunity cost of staying home change from round 1 to round 2? So Carolyn, did you get a job this time?
No, I did not.
What was the best offer you got this time?
I think somebody said 20.
20. So before, remember her opportunity cost, what she was giving up was a wage of $13. Now what she's giving up is a wage of $20. She's still not choosing it because her choice is here. But do you see how her opportunity costs have increased?
Before round 3, distribute round 3 employer cards and round 3 household cards. This round again has higher prevailing wages, but spouses also face lower opportunity costs when choosing to enter the labor force. For example, due to labor-saving technologies, spouses are able to produce the same amount of value for families, but in less time. There are also 2 optional roll cards that can be used in this round to illustrate changing values for some spouses.
25. Yes, $25.
25?
Yes.
I'll take it. Thank you. I barely have a job.
23.
26.
21.
Anybody willing to work for $17 or $18 an hour?
No.
Raise your hand if you took a job in that round. Hold them up. Hold them up so I can count. Any jobs here? No? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 26, 27. How many people did not take jobs in that round? Raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 10, 11, 12. Okay. Can you think of any eras in U.S. history, since this is American economic history, can you think of any eras in U.S. history that you maybe saw paralleled in this activity?
In your debrief, highlight these things: increased labor force participation by women during World War II, the women's movement of the 1970s, and the continued entry of women in the labor force today all can be understood through economic reasoning. As the opportunity cost of staying home increases, more women will leave their homes to seek employment. Wages, labor-saving technology, values, and individual family circumstances all shape the opportunity costs of staying home or entering the labor force.